In order to mount the press unit, we're simply going to carefully take the unit. Now, if this has been in storage for a while, you do want to make sure that you put a few drops of oil on the press unit as well as on the guides where the press actually is, so that it's well lubricated before we put it on the machine. Now we simply take our tape, we kind of feed it towards the back, we set it up here carefully, and then we'll take our Allen screw and we'll kind of just push it back, and we're going to set one of the Allen screws in there. We do not really want to tighten it. We just want to get it just a slight bit snug. Same thing with the bottom one. Before we tighten these down, we need to put the jig in place. So when we put the jig on here, you'll see it's got the 3 cutouts. We need to make sure it engages with the actual presses down at the bottom. And if at all possible, if you're changing this one, which is the one that we just put on, instead of putting this one on one of the ends, it would be better to put it in the middle, so that when we push this jig tight to the 2 that are already mounted, we know that this is in proper alignment. When you put that at the end, which sometimes you have to do based on which one you're changing, for example the last one here, you just need to make sure that this jig is not crooked. It has to be nice and straight so that these are in the proper alignment, and this sets the proper spacing between these press units. So we're going to simply press that in there. You also want to make sure you're not going underneath it. Sometimes this table's a little low and it slips underneath. If that's the situation, just raise up on the table a little bit to make sure that's actually going around the actual punches themselves instead of sliding underneath them. We push this nice and tight. That's now in the proper position. And now we simply tighten up our Allen screws. Make sure that the Allen screws have the washers with them so that you can secure it properly. To finish mounting the press unit, we had the previous tape just cut. So now the end that was fed through to the back of the machine, that's this one here, and here's the one coming off of the waste reel. We're going to take a piece of tape. We are going to place tape in the middle of the piece of tape, and we are going to take the one coming off the waste reel, set it on there, fold the tape over, they're now taped together, and wind that onto the waste reel until it's taut.